Hello to anyone watching this back on the replay. Hi, I'm Sarah, and this is a place for people who are deconstructing or questioning their faith. And I just kind of answer questions and comments from people. So there should be a way for you to set it so that you can see the comments that are coming across the bottom. So thanks for being here. Um, Hi, Autumn. Hello. Hey, Marianne. Hi, Chip. Hello, friends. Happy Thursday. Yes. I feel like every time I say this, I have to check. I'm like, yeah, it's okay. That's what day it is. Hi, Dr. Joe. I'm doing well, thanks. What's good? Hey, Max. Oh, you're still in the Tetons. Oh, I love that, Chip. I've been to lots of mountains, but never the Tetons. Hi, oh, I don't Raghad. I'm so sorry if I don't know how to say that. It's not very late. I saw that, Dr. Joe. That person is unhinged. So, yeah, say what you want to that person, but they will not give you any logical response in any way. Oh, I want to, Chip, for sure. It's on the list of mountains to visit. Clearly, Dr. Joe. Hi, Jamie. I'm doing well. I have Ruby. Oh, sorry, the ring light. But there's Ruby hanging out on the carpet right in front of the couch. Oh, and I just heard little Bunny. Bunny, are you coming to say hi? Hey, little buns. What you doing, hippity hop? Well, don't want to say hi? Checkers and Ruby are definitely friends. Hi, Krista. It's good to see you. Oh, wow. Walking the Appalachian Trail. That's amazing. What are you eating, Checkers? I feel like she has something she's not supposed to have. Oh, hello, hello. What is that? What are you eating? Well, I have no idea. It's gone now. Whatever it was, she consumed it. That's true. You're right. Oh, hello from Norway. Oh my gosh, you have a Flemish giant? I've always wanted to meet one. Hey, big girl. Hi, how are you? Oh, thanks, Barn Girl. Hi from Maryland. I suppose we should probably switch over. I'm going to do this preemptively. There haven't been any crazy comments yet, but it's always pleasant when they we don't have them. Yeah, there should be if you press the heart button, I think that's good for the algorithm, I think, Chip. I guess I don't actually know. I would assume so. How long do rabbits live? I think quite a while, like 10 to 12 years. Hi, Barn Girl. Oh, yeah, the thumbs up does something for sure. If I was a mean giant, I don't know. Why do I have to be mean? Oh, here you go, Rubes. Checkers came up to say hello. Hey, sweetie. Hi, Jordan. I don't know, Autumn. Well, anyone want to talk about hell? Hi, Em. I have no idea, Chip. Hey, Checkers, you want to come over here? I'll give you cuddles. Okay. Sorry, can't do that. What kind of question, Jordan? I don't, I have not heard that theory, Caleb. Hey, Jaded. Well, I'm glad you're here too. Right, Charles. Yeah. What is my favorite song? I don't know. Although, if you ever want like a great female rage song, I have a new one. Oh my gosh, but now I can't think of the name of it. Hey, Brent. Is being a woman on social media like hell, maybe? Sometimes. Yeah, Death God, I'm in the US. I'm sure you could tell by my accent. Let me see if I follow your question. Jordan said, I don't get this. I look it up. Why, if I don't believe in God, I don't go to hell, but if I don't believe in Jesus, I will go to hell. I think the Christians who believe in hell think that you go there in both cases. What do you think of Christians who try to soften the blow of hell by saying it's only annihilation and not eternal torture? I actually think there's a very strong case biblically to be made for that. I think annihilationism actually is easier to demonstrate in scripture compared to eternal conscious torment. Eternal torment, I actually don't think is that well supported. Again, I think the Bible is sort of contradictory and unclear about the issue. Bye, Barn Girl. Hi, Kyler. 9 says, I'm still a believer, but in my opinion, the suburban Protestant evangelical community has become very much a big business. I mean, yeah, I think that is so blatantly on the face of it a business. But, I mean, look at how much money the LDS church has or the Catholic Church. In all of these major religions, there's a lot of money. Um, and and so, um, it's hard to get away from that. Hi, Rachel. Well, hey, 10X. Thanks, sir. What denominations believe in annihilation? I actually don't know. Um, I don't know. I'm not sure which ones, honestly. Outdoor says, so you don't believe in hell. Yeah, that's correct. I don't believe in hell. Thanks, Jordy. Oh, well, you're welcome, 9. Why don't I believe in hell? I don't believe in anything supernatural. Oh, Chip, thank you so much for the super chat. Chip says the silliest Christian concept related to hell, to me at least, is the idea that I choose to send myself to hell. I mean, duh, no, I don't. Doesn't God respect my free will? Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that when it comes to heaven, God respects your free will, but he does not respect your free will when it comes to hell. But I think that whole part of it is because I think Christians recognize that hell is cruel and horrifying. And so, you want to get as much separation from God and hell because you want God to be a good God, and a good God wouldn't do that. So you take the responsibility away from God and put it on humans, and then you don't have to deal with the moral implications of God sending you somewhere. Outdoor says, so you believe when you die and there's nothing. I think so. Yeah, I think we just stop existing. I don't know, Jordan. Jordan says, why do good people die, but a lot of times bad people don't? I genuinely have no idea. I think sometimes we are just terribly unlucky. Joe says, Christian dogma is the biggest turning point for most. When the questions stop and you have to just trust in faith alone. Yeah, I remember having conversations like that when I was going through my deconstruction process of kind of getting to a really tough point, and the person I'm talking to is like, well, just, I don't know, but just have faith. Valentina, the idea that hell is simply separation from God actually isn't very biblical. It's a very new idea. Christians are framing it that way again to get away from the horror that is hell. God is not respecting my free will if he sends me there. I am not choosing to go there. Hmm. 9 says, that has always been a sticking point for me. I remember when I first remember being conscious, but what was before that? What happened before I woke up in the crib? Yeah. Yeah, it's so impossible to wrap your mind around the fact that at one point you just didn't exist and that that's going to happen again. Um, how can you stay without a religion? So I haven't been religious for 16 years, and it's going fine. Jordy says the biggest plot twist is that we're already in hell. Yeah, it reminds me of that show, The Good Place. Skin says, God is real. And if you know, you know. Tomorrow morning, ask God to show you a sign that he is real and watch and see if it happens. Don't be completely unreasonable. Well, what would be unreasonable for an all-powerful God? He could do anything, right? Boy named Sue says, you have the free will to follow the rules. Is not follow the rules. You don't have free will to dodge the consequences. I'm not trying to dodge any consequences. Oh, Kevin, thank you so much for the super chat. Kevin Michael says, thank you for being a safe space for those of us getting over the PTSD of the past 40 years. Yeah, you're welcome. Jordy says, my request for God is a funnel cake at my door. Is that reasonable? And this is interesting. Boy named Sue says, that's tempting God. We don't do that. And I do find that Christians are very split on this idea. Can I ask God to demonstrate himself? And every time I talk about it in the comments, if I do happen to have Christians in the comments, they're 50-50 on it. Yeah, ask God for a sign, ask God to reveal himself. You should ask. Or no, that's testing God. You can't do that. You're not supposed to. Outdoors, what choice is it you think I've made? Jordan says, is it bad that I don't believe in God, but I do with Jesus? I think there are a lot of people who, when they read the whole Bible, cannot connect to the Old Testament God, but think that Jesus makes a lot of sense. So, I think you actually might be in good company there. Hi, Lizard. The issue with asking for things, it's got to be something you have faith will happen. So God is limited by our faith. Valentina says, who do you believe created the world if not God? I don't think there's any who. I think it formed as a natural process. Hey, Minutemen. Absurda says, I have faith I will get a funnel cake. Well, tell you what, if anyone gets a funnel cake tomorrow, I will let everybody know. Hi, Jason. I don't think it's wrong. Oh, no, I'm not. Caleb says, are you familiar with Marcion? He was a man that rejected all of the Old Testament, saying Christ's father must have been a different God than Yahweh. Oh, that's interesting. No, I don't know anything about that. Oh, wow, Jamin, I'm really glad. You're right. I don't remember what advice I gave you. But I'm really happy to hear that surgery went well. Doug, that it's a joke from another YouTuber and content creator, Justin at Deconstruction Zone. Victor says, given the billions of followers, doesn't Jesus touch something genuine about the human soul? Well, there are also billions of followers of Judaism, of Islam. I don't know I don't know if Hinduism is like a fourth place, but there are billions of followers of other religions too. Oh, well, thanks, Plant. Oh, thank you, Neo. Valentina says, what or who created the initial elements that led to the Big Bang? I have no idea. I don't know. I think there was probably maybe something just always existed. Like matter, I think just always existed. The explanation that makes the most sense to me is the hypothesis about the universe just expanding until it collapses, and so it contracts and then it expands again. But I'm not a physicist, so don't quote me on that. Ask a physicist. Well, thank you, Nine. I really appreciate that. um, the best way to get a hold of me is on TikTok, honestly. So if you happen to use TikTok, I have the same handle over there, and I do check my DMs. Skin says, enough faith to move mountains. Yeah, and you'll be given whatever it is you ask for. I mean, isn't it that's making like the ultimate unfalsifiable claim, because Jesus is promising anything we ask for, and yet the condition that's put on that is if you have the right amount of faith. And so that means it's unfalsifiable, because every time you don't get an answer to your request, you can always just blame yourself for not having enough faith. Like, well, I did what I was supposed to. I asked for this thing in Jesus's name, and it's a good thing. It's not a mean, selfish thing, but it didn't happen. And so rather than concluding that there is no one listening, you can just conclude that I must not have had enough faith. Old says, does faith literally move mountains? I have never seen a mountain move. I will say that. I'm glad you feel welcomed here, Joe. What religion are you? I am no longer any religion. Outdoors, the oldest tree doesn't tell us the age of the planet. Stephanie, I don't go to any church. Why wouldn't the age of a tree be? Because trees aren't as old as the planet. Why would the age of a tree be the same age as the planet? Jordy asks, do you have a religious family? Yeah, I do. So my parents are still very religious. My sister's less so, but yeah. Miss Tree says faith shouldn't be a work, but the way that Christians talk about it, it is. It's always I've done something wrong because when God doesn't show up, when God doesn't fulfill his promises, you're sort of left with either he's there and he's just not answering you, or you did it wrong. And so but I understand why, Christians are going to go to you did it wrong because you don't want to blame God. Do you believe that humans have value? If so, why? I do. I do think humans have value. But a big part of that is just because I have empathy. Like, I am a human and I know what it's like to be a human. And so I can understand the human experience. And so I don't think it's not value in the sense that the universe cares about us. I think we have value to each other. Like, I value other humans. I think the universe is neutral. Bracacho, no, Bracacho. Um, I don't send myself to hell. I don't know where hell is. I don't know how to get there. I'm not choosing to go there. So if I end up in hell, it's because God put me there. Espresso says, what are your thoughts on the debate culture and deconstruction? What do you mean by that? Do you think atheists are smarter than religious people? No. Bracha, I'm sorry. I don't know how to pronounce that. Nacho, I'm going to call you Nacho. Says, just repent, please. I'm begging you. The fact that you are so desperate and so afraid says a lot about your religion. If your God is good, you don't have to beg me to repent. You don't have to be afraid for me if your God is good. Hi, Jay. So Skin, what you've just said here is called Pascal's wager. Skin says, if I believe in God and I die, but I'm completely wrong, that's okay. If I don't believe and I die and go to hell, that's a problem. So the reason why Pascal's wager is a bad argument is because it's missing like 90% of the equation. Your first premise, if I believe in God and I die, but I'm wrong, that's okay, is false. If you're wrong, if you believe in Yahweh, in Jesus, and you're wrong and that God does not exist, there's no guarantee that you're okay. What if there's a different God that's real and you picked the wrong God and now you're going to hell in a different religion? The idea that you would just be okay is an incorrect assumption. It's also predicated on the fact that I could just choose to believe because I just want the insurance policy, right? Like, well, I want to avoid hell, so I guess I will truly believe. But you can't, it doesn't work that way, right? That's not real belief. That's just buying an insurance policy. Oh, thanks, Brent. Hey, dyslexia. Lil Henry says, no one chooses hell, but they choose the lifestyle that leads to hell. What lifestyle are you referring to? My life is very similar to when I was a Christian. My lifestyle hasn't changed at all. Hey, Lizard, my bunny is good. Here, I can, wait, let me skip this a little bit. Oh, sorry, the ring light's like in the way. There's Checkers. Oh, and then here's Ruby, a big pile of fluff. Checkers is cleaning herself. Hey, Checkers, what you doing? Well, she's cleaning her little face. It's super cute when she does that. Skin says, well, it's not an off switch to believe because that's insurance policy comes with actions. So Skin, I cannot make myself believe. Like I can't do it. Yes, I have. I actually have two bunnies. Oh, well, thanks, Henry. So I didn't reject God, though. I just stopped believing he existed. Like, I'm not mad at God. I don't hate God. I'm not rejecting him. I'm just not convinced that he's real. No, Wealthy, you would be incorrect. No, I don't. I can't choose not to believe in God. Hey, Ashereth. Yeah, so many of us, our lives are exactly the same as Christians minus the time in church and prayer, but everything else is the same. Boy, yeah. So Joshua, I have heard that literally hundreds of times. It's not a religion, it's a relationship. I know. If you believe in a deity, you are participating in a religion. Like that's just what the word means. The word religion doesn't mean rules and legalism. If you worship a deity, that is a religion. Why is belief not a choice? So think about something right now that you know is false. It could be anything, right? That the sky is green or that the moon is made of cheese, right? Just anything you can think of that you know is false. And right now in this moment, can you choose to be convinced that it's true? Like you can choose a lot of things, you have many choices, but you cannot just make yourself believe something. Yeah, so Azim says, but people switch from a believer to a non-belief. Yeah, so your beliefs can change over time, but that doesn't mean that it's a conscious choice for that to happen, right? So the example I use a lot is comparing it to when children stop believing in Santa. And I do not think that your God is like Santa Claus. So this is just a metaphor. Hey, Michelle. But when you're a child and you're absolutely convinced that Santa Claus is real, and then you see your parent stuffing your stocking, the belief in Santa just disappears. Like you don't have it anymore. And that child, no matter how much they want to, they cannot force themselves to believe again. It's the same principle. Skin says that's the dilemma with following and believing in God. It takes more effort than just dismissing the idea. Skin, you have no idea how much effort I have put in. It is not for lack of effort. Why do you think we don't deserve hell? So I don't think you have done anything that has caused infinite harm. And so I don't know why you would deserve infinite punishment. Hookshot says you don't have the ability to believe. It's only by grace are you able to believe. Okay, so that makes it God's responsibility then. Like if God doesn't give us that grace, we won't believe. And then that's not our fault. Dom says, well, we sin. Yeah, I understand. But why would God design a place of infinite punishment? Right? Like, why would God design a place where no matter how repentant you become, you can never leave, ever? Why would a place like that even exist? Like, why do you deserve never, ever ending punishment? Hey, Michelle, thank you so much for the super chat. Michelle says, it's upsetting to me that Christians always say we weren't real believers or that we didn't try hard enough to keep believing. I know. For all the Christians who come to my lives, the one thing I hope that the Christians walk away with is understanding that so many of us were heartbroken to have lost our faith. We didn't want to stop believing, and we did everything we could to keep believing. And if you're a Christian in this live and you're hoping to win souls to Christ, you will not get anywhere if you don't listen to what happened to us. If you just insist I was never a real Christian, you've already ended the conversation because you don't care enough to hear what happened to us. I promise it was not for a lack of trying. Wow, Hookshot. Thank you for proving my point. Hookshot says you never had true faith. Did you hear a word I just said? Yeah, Sheila says, someone said everything I left had claw marks in it, right? Like we left kicking and screaming. We did not want to stop believing. And if you insist that we did, you're not going to connect to us in any way. Hookshot, you're just I genuinely don't understand your thought process right now. Hookshot, have you listened to any of the words that have come out of my mouth in the last 60 seconds? John says, I'm struggling with my faith after 20 years. I'm in pain. I'm so sorry. I know it is such a painful experience. And I just want to reassure you, John, that you're not alone. And when people go through this, they end up in many different places. So it's not like you're for sure going to become an atheist. If you need some resources, one, I would recommend the organization Recovering from Religion. They don't push you in either direction or anything, but they have a lot of support groups, a lot of other resources. I also have a Discord server. If you're interested in joining that, I can send you the link via TikTok. If you have TikTok, please come find me over there and you can send me a DM. Thanks, Chip, so much for the super chat. Chip says, I think the "you were never a true Christian" is a defense mechanism. They're terrified it might happen to them. Yeah, I think a lot of Christians have to separate themselves. Say, oh, those ex-Christians, they're not like me. They were bad. They were doing it wrong. They're in this different category. I don't have anything in common with them. Hookshot, if you're not trying to be offensive, please view me as a whole human being. Okay? Please listen to what I'm saying before you keep throwing out Bible verses. Okay? Hookshot, I believed with my whole heart, and I did not want to stop believing. I did not choose this. It was something that happened to me. Okay, so can we start there? For people who want the backstory of that, I have an FAQ playlist and I have like a 5-minute video on why I don't believe anymore. Hookshot, I believed as sincerely as you do. I dedicated my entire life to Jesus. It was my whole world. We're glad you're here, John. What do you believe now? So I don't believe in anything supernatural. Good night, Brent. There you go, you dedicated. I don't know what that means. No, Hook. I didn't say that's how I was saved. I was confident in my salvation. I'm explaining to you how important my faith was to me and how important my relationship to God was. Okay, so I'm not describing the point of salvation. I'm describing my life with God. Will you ever give Christianity another chance? I would first have to believe that there was a God. Good luck on your math test, Lizard. Becoming says, can we talk to the people leaving the faith instead? Or most of the people commenting just here to argue? Becoming, is that comment directed at me or are you talking to like the Christian commenters? It means God did his part. Now you have to do your part and believe. Hookshot, I cannot force myself to believe. Did you listen when I said I didn't want to stop believing? Or did that just like go in one ear and out the other? John, do you happen to have TikTok? That's the easiest way to get a hold of me. Hi, Trolley. Clearly, Kyler. did you feel the fruits of the Spirit? Do you mean did I have the fruits of the Spirit, or did I feel the presence of the Spirit? Side note, I learned this song when I was a kid about the fruits of the Spirit, and anytime someone asks me about that, it's in my head. Um, so I can always recite them. Did your life naturally display the fruits of the Spirit? Yes. I don't believe in God any longer. Yes, Henry, I said yes. Who do you believe in? I don't, what do you mean? And Hookshot, I will send good vibes out for your emotional intelligence because you did not demonstrate any listening skills. What are your morals? What guides you? So I am guided by kind of like my principles or my core values are kindness and compassion and honesty. Um, and I get those because I'm able to experience empathy. Hi, Trevor. The Pope says, why do people think you need Christianity to be moral? I think particularly if you are more secluded, um, many Christians grow up with the idea that atheists and non-Christians have no morals. And, the idea that the only thing giving you morals is your relationship with God. It also ties into evangelical theology that, um, we're all deeply bad. And so, especially evangelicals believe that we can only be good if God allows us to be good. Ashley, I stopped believing in God in 2009. Hi, Caroline. My backstory is in my FAQ playlist. Azim says, "Why is it not random to have empathy?" It is evolutionarily advantageous to have empathy. It helps us survive as a species. Where do I have proof of that? Of the fact that it's evolutionarily advantageous? There are many species that didn't survive. Isn't that random? No, no, they weren't equipped to survive. That that's how evolution works. Sure. So legend, can I ask first, do you accept that evolution is true, is factual? Or are we starting back further than that? Okay. So then we can look at the success of early societies and the fact that they were able to care for each other and how that expanded their population, expanded their health. Um, and we can see those same patterns in other species. You need a bigger mug. Thanks, Mother. So it's not random. No, evolution is not a random force. Oh, dyslexia, don't you worry. I have a French press. Thanks, Michael. Jordan says, why do some Christians be mean to people that don't believe in God? I don't know. Oh, AeroPress is good, but I like the flavor from a French press. Maybe the best. Geo says, hell seems to create a moral and emotional contradiction. Either people in heaven are indifferent, they don't care, um, which challenges the idea of personal identity and love. You know, the explanation I hear most often from Christians is that they don't know, that people in heaven, God wipes their memory. So they don't know that people are in hell, which I find to be a horrifying explanation. Sure, Jack, as long as it's not like an inappropriate question. Well, to be fair, Chip, I have French press every day, and it's been a while since I've had AeroPress. Jack, I already said yes as long as it's not inappropriate. Coffee blasphemy. Oh, that's such an interesting way to put that, Skeletor. Skeletor says, which is worse? You have to leave the party and it will go on without you, or the party never ends and you must stay forever and are required to have a good time. Oh man. Well, I'm old enough that I'll say, nope, I'll go home. I'm done. Oh, that's awesome, dyslexia. Henry says, then why do species kill other members of their own species? Um, that evolution is not a perfect process. It's a good enough process. Hey, Francois. Ooh, Kyler says, I think my stepdad said that when we're in heaven, we just see how just God is and that it all makes sense why he had to send the evil people to hell. Yeah, that's an interesting thing that Christians go back and forth on. Like, first, we're all bad and we all deserve hell. But then once you get to heaven, you get to look down on those evil people getting what they deserve. Did you study something on evolution? My degree's in physiology. So, I mean, I've certainly taken a lot of biology courses. Yeah, Red Mist, I hear that a lot. Red Mist says, I had a Christian tell me you won't remember your loved ones when you're in heaven. And I think that's horrifying. Cute Puppy says, I'm starting to like the idea of a permanent exit. Let others experience life in our place. I'm tired, boss. We don't need to continue forever. Yeah. What causes us humans to be alive? Are I'm not sure which part of this process you're asking about. I mean, are you asking how our baby's made or like what causes consciousness? I have watched The Good Place, yeah. Yeah, I think deleting your memories definitely violates your free will. Agreed. Skeletor says it sounds like Christians believe that you are no longer you in heaven. No sin equals no free will, no memory. What makes you you at that point? Yeah. I mean, and often Christians will say things like, you get a new body, you are fully sanctified, whatever that actually means. But it really does come across as like you are reprogrammed. And again, that's not free will. Sahil says, if there's no God, why don't I have control over my birth and death? If there is a God, do you have control over your birth and death? How do you retain purpose in life without God? So I use the term meaning rather than purpose. So I don't think I have a purpose in the sense of I'm here to accomplish a certain task, but I do find a lot of meaning. I find meaning in connecting to other people, in love, in relationship. I find meaning in growth, in learning. I find meaning in being able to put kindness out into the world. Simply says, Catholic evolutionist here. Why would consciousness be necessary for survival on a strict atheist evolutionary viewpoint? It's not necessary, it's advantageous. So creatures who have consciousness are more likely to survive than creatures that do not. Brain says, anyone who has a pet dog knows they have more soul than anyone else. Case in point. Ruby's been sleeping this whole time. Oh, Jake, thank you. So much for the super chat. Jay Corling says, evening, Sarah. I don't really have anything to say tonight other than hope you've been doing well. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much. It really is, I really appreciate it. It's really kind of you. Thank you. That's not a run-of-the-mill pup. She is a Great Pyrenees, so she looks like a giant golden retriever. Actually, I didn't have to go to a breeder at all. Pyrenees often end up in shelters for a variety of reasons, but she was a rescue, so I got her from a shelter. Hi, Maria. Why is it advantageous to survive when compared to going extinct? It's not advantageous from the universe's perspective. We are just the creatures that we are surrounded by are the creatures that have happened to survive. I'm not saying one thing is better than the other. It's just, I'm just describing the reality that we see. Oh my gosh, I could never have a Belgian Malinois. Like they need so much. Like that has to be your whole life, you know? But hats off to anyone who does. Steve, is it an appropriate question? Oh my gosh, really? Dyslexia? That's awesome. If there is good and evil, wouldn't it stand to reason there must be a maximum good? No. Why must there be a maximum good? Is there a maximum evil? And I think good and evil are just things that we perceive. I don't think they are objective entities. Simply says, I understand your point. My question is, what would heighten the probability for the flourishing of conscious creatures? Would it be more survivable? Why would it be more survivable? Because you are able to evaluate choices, learn from circumstances. A conscious creature can cultivate food, can grow things, can create societies. And many animal species have complex social structures. And so that is advantageous. Stevie says, I want to know what you have to say about the concept of worship. Do you believe that all people, whether it's God or a thing, worship something? No, I don't think all people worship something. Although sometimes I've had Christians have different definitions of worship, so it's possible we need to agree on a definition of worship. But the short answer is no. Jordan says, do animals go to hell? I saw a movie that said all dogs go to heaven, so that is what I'm sticking with. Almost like what you said about the Belgian Malinois, that all your time would go to it. Is that not, in a sense, worship? No. Spending a lot of time doing something is not worshiping it. You've certainly made something a priority, but a priority and worship, I think, are different things. Oh my gosh, dyslexia, do not break my heart. Oh, I mean, I knew that elephants had funerals, but that detail is terrible. Does removing God from a society remove or at least degrade the inherent value of humans? No, not at all. In fact, I think many atheists value humans more than religious people do, because we think that this life is all that there is. It's incredibly valuable. Whereas if you think this life is just a test and the real thing is next, then this life isn't actually worth all that much. You can say, well, everything's just going to temporary because the real thing is coming next. So I think we value, with a lack of God, you might value life even more. No, Sylvia, it doesn't mean that. Simply, I don't know how else to explain it to you. How are you so confident that you would know your truth is the truth? I'm not. Yeah, I mean, I'm not convinced that there is a God, but I am not claiming that I am certain. Alrighty, friends, I think it is time for me to call it a night. I do have some resources in my bio, so you can check that out. I will be live on TikTok probably tomorrow night, but for sure Saturday night. And I do take guests on Saturday nights. So come find me on TikTok then. Otherwise, I'll be back here on YouTube on Tuesday. So please come and find me on Tuesday. And at some point, I'm going to figure out how to stream two at the same time, but it is very complicated. So I'm working on it. I am working on it. Yeah, so thank you guys so much for hanging out tonight. I really appreciate it. And I will see you all soon.